Be a few seconds off. All right, ready to roll.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, call the meeting to order of the Traffic, Bicycle, and Pedestrian Commission. Noted that all members are present except the chairman, Matt. Is there a motion to approve the minutes and the agenda?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a
Second.
There's a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Move on to regular business. Except I goofed up my, there. Consideration of possible action and request by the traffic engineer to establish no parking 15-minute loading zone only on the north side of Pine Street next to the Hotel Northland.
Yes,
Dave?
I'm going to direct attention to the screens. This is an image, aerial image of the location. So where the push pin is approximately where the main entrance is, at least where the loading and unloading of passengers, guests, valet parking, all of that takes place there. And currently, that whole north side of Pine Street from Adams to approximately Madison Street, so those 2 blocks, is all no parking this side of the street. And a lot of that was due to, there's some turn lanes into the ramps and things like that, and a lot of driveways in that area. And with the old land use of that building, where the hotel is currently, that was just extended all the way to Adams Street. But with this now change of land use back to the hotel, it just makes sense to have a loading area there. It's something that I see regularly occurring anyway. It's a natural place for people to drop off gas, pick up gas, and take their luggage in and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I just figured rather than...
Valet parking uses it.
Yeah, I figure rather than trying to fight anything like this, it just seemed to make sense. I looked at the roadway widths. We're all fine with roadway widths. We can still maintain a safe lane of traffic going in the eastbound or westbound direction from the center line, so we should be fine. So when it gets down to the detail of what we will establish, I intend on keeping everything obviously from this alleyway. No parking this side of the street, as I was saying, because of the turn lanes and everything into the ramp. However, we'll probably go about 10 feet from this building corner, the alley access. There's a electrical pole box there for the street lighting that would conflict probably, so we'll probably put the sign just to the west of it. And then there is a no parking here at a corner on the south side, and what I want to do is just maintain that same distance on the north side to preserve the right turn movement to go north towards Northland. So with that would probably be about, I'm not exactly sure what the distance is, probably 50 to 75 feet. We'll verify that and put that in the official minutes. But so we'd, basically my request would be to have a no parking here at a corner, roughly where I'm noting on the map, and then this area all right in here would just be all no parking, 15-minute loading.
Is there any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Item number 2, consideration of possible action on the request of Alderman Weary on behalf of the Western Corridor Neighborhood Association to discuss the Ben Endiger Trail, I don't know how to say that, crossing on Shawano Avenue.
Yeah, the trail itself sometimes is also referred to as the West Side Trail.
Mhm.
It's just got a renaming a couple of years ago. But anyway, I'm going to again draw your attention to the computer monitor, and I'll show you the crossing. So this is
It's an old railroad trail, isn't it?
Exactly.
Track?
Yep. It's basically one of those rails to trails projects from years ago, where old railway bed converted into a trail. This crossing was put in a number of years ago, and as you can tell here, we got a multi-lane facility, so it's an undivided 4-lane roadway, 2 lanes in each direction. And we've got plenty of sight lines, and if anyone remembers or has driven through here, the sight lines are very good. It's a very straight roadway. You can see the crossing, and it's signage actually very well, hundreds and hundreds of feet in advance of this crossing. I did have some email exchange with the alder relative to this prior to it becoming an actual request. So he had asked me what my thoughts were on it, and I responded back after looking into crash history, of which I could not find any, which is the good news. Good news in this case is no crashes. So I looked at that relative to what we have out there in place, and for a mid-block crossing, we've got the continental style markings here, which have the best type of contrasting marking for a crosswalk. So I think that's in perfect order. And like I said, the signage is actually above standard, the size and positioning of it. So that compared to the existing record of no crashes, I didn't see a need to have anything done to it.
Okay.
My presumption at this point in time, without knowing any information from the neighborhood association, I had asked for it and I did not get any, was what's the problem? And my presumption is that it's a compliance issue, but I'm not certain, so.
Okay. We have a gentleman that would like to speak from the neighborhood association?
That's on the trail, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there,
We have a process for filling out the paperwork. I mean, it's just your name and address, so for the record.
Okay.
But then, but go ahead, yeah.
do we need to make a motion to open the floor?
Yes, but
Motion
but
open.
artist.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Yes, sir.
I guess I'm the only one from the neighborhood association. I'm just a citizen in the area on Shawano Avenue. That's the one you're talking about there? Okay. We live right 2 blocks from there, as well as we walk on the trail too. I personally stop. If I see somebody in a crosswalk or something like that, and I appreciate it when I'm walking, people stop there. I think it'd be a good idea, a flashing light. Although there was, now I do have to say, and I'm probably shooting myself in the foot, there was one on East Mason Street, which was taken down because nobody stopped at it. So, I don't know. I'm in favor of a flashing light for people to stop. More and more people seem to be stopping, but I think a flashing light would help tremendously. So,
Okay.
any other questions or anything?
Well, I'll respond directly to your reference to the one on the east side, because that's in my neighborhood.
Okay.
The Oak Grove neighborhood.
Yeah.
Before I was on the commission, I requested the commission to take those lights down, because what happened would be that people would come, push the button, and the lights would come on, and they would assume that traffic was going to stop, and the traffic never did stop.
Right.
And so there was a false sense of security that I can go across with my bike or my
Right.
trike or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And it got to be to the point where people in my neighborhood said, let's take the lights down because it's giving this false sense
Yeah.
of security.
I mean-
And somebody's going to get killed because the traffic on Mason just never stopped. And
Right.
I would assume the same would be with Shawano.
I think there's more traffic on East Mason than what there is on Shawano,
Oh, yeah.
believe it or not. Especially with the highways going around town. Because I've lived I live a block off of Shawano Avenue, and since the highways have been there, how would I say, the traffic is considerable less. I've even pulled in to block both lanes and put my flashers on, so people stop. Because there's kids, people walking dogs, we use the trail, we help clean up the trail,
Mhm.
so I guess I'm just kind of speaking.
Dave, do we have any signs there that say crossing?
There is a sign on each side that says pedestrian crossings, if I'm not mistaken, and possibly one in the middle, a yellow sign.
Right. I'm not positive if we have advance warning. I believe we do, but let me just check. We would already have it placed. So it's at the crossing itself,
Yeah.
as you can see. So what we did was, on a standard crossing, what I was getting at before about the standard being above standard, the standard minimum would be to just have this assembly here, but we've got actually, one on each side. So that would raise it up a little bit. We did put this, on more durable posts and everything, and we were able to raise the height a little bit on the assembly and the signs. As you can tell, it's a fluorescent yellow color, which is obviously even more bright to the motorist. And you'll see that it's back to back, so if you move forward on here, you'll see the same thing over here. So in essence, you have, this one's not obviously going to be double because this is counter-directional.
Right.
But yeah, and then you have the, as you can see here, these are what we call detectable warning fields. These are for ADA compliance for the visually impaired. But yeah, everything on this is above standard. We do have, like I was saying, with the Continental crosswalks here that get painted every year to keep them nice and white. So, like the gentleman was saying about flashing lights, that is a possibility, but we normally will evaluate a crossing for a lot of different things. We take an engineering perspective at it, look at multiple factors. Obviously, one of them that I look at that I think is obviously very important is the safety. If there's a safety record, then obviously there should be some more to do here. But there's other factors such as the amount of volume of pedestrian traffic that's using the crossing. And I mean, it's roadway width, amount of wait time that is observed in the field. Those are some of the things that we looked at. And I know you mentioned about the one on East Mason Street. So are they similar? They're actually quite different in my opinion. And the reason I say that is, well, one of the things was that the volume of traffic. I think you mentioned that it's just so much higher. That makes a difference. The reason, and this is what I've always suspected all along on that crossing, why the compliance was so low, is that the volume was low. And that's the fear that I have when we install lights at a location that has such a low head count. And I don't know if per se that is the truth here. I don't know. We did know that over there. We counted that and it was low. So what happens is no one expects to see the light flashing, and all of a sudden they see a light flashing, and what's this? It's the one time in 2 hours that someone crossed. It's one of those. So when we look at it from an engineering perspective, we would like to see minimum pedestrian volumes over, not just one sample of an hour, multiple hours. A good example of a flashing light installation is actually over by the hospitals over on Webster.
I was just gonna say that too.
I go through that corridor often. We haven't done any follow-up studies after we put it in, but we knew going into it that there was a lot of crossings that were happening, basically jaywalking that was already occurring. So there was justification for it, and I'm sure you can, I'm probably preaching to the choir here, you see those lights flashing quite often.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get the compliance. People are used to seeing that, and then they're like, oh, okay, now they're on, I guess we got someone crossing, and there you'll see the person. So that's why when we look at it from an engineering perspective, we like to see those minimum number of pedestrians, because that's when the compliance does get better.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I just wanted to give my 2 cents worth,
All right.
I guess.
Thank you very
Want
much.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I hope you guys decide to go with that, because I think it'd be a good fact, especially like the one at the hospital. I went by there a couple times in the past couple weeks, and I thought that was tremendous. So, okay?
Okay.
Thank you,
Is
gentlemen.
there a motion
Ma'am, ladies?
to go back?
Motion to close the file.
Motion closed. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? The ayes have it. What is the view of the commission? Any comments?
You want to do maybe study for pedestrians? I mean, it's hard. I don't know how many people use that. I have no idea.
It's something we can do. I wouldn't be surprised if it came back with
Pretty
low
low.
volumes, because I know what the thresholds are. And anecdotally, from my experience with this crossing, because I haven't looked at this. Obviously, like when we were installing signs, we've made modification. We've made one modification after we put it in. That anecdotally, I don't think the numbers are going to be close. But that's, again, my
Okay.
cursory opinion of it at this
Okay.
point, so, but I mean, it would involve, looking at the volumes. I would probably be looking at headways or gaps with that, and then obviously we'd have to get some, I'd have our traffic technician, or if our summer students are here, by that time I could always have them do the study and have them at least count them. So, I mean, it's something we can do, but like I said, I have my experience behind me saying I don't think it's gonna meet it.
Is there a motion?
I feel we really don't need to do anything with this section here, so I'm gonna make a motion just to place on file.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ray, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Informational issue, the next meeting would be May 20th. Is there anything further to come before the commission? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Okay, 16 minutes. That's all right. We did it for you, Bridget.
I like it.
I travel an hour and a half to get here.
Oh.
Oh, did you?
Three,
Go next door.